A thread by Soul War. President Trump is trying to heal a nation at war with itself. The war is ideologically based, but the ideology is not left-right, as Americans who are both left and right are suffering at the hands of one side. This is the woke versus the unwoke. Regular Americans versus a new America. The new America came into being over 7 decades of slow and stealthy change of American hearts and minds via academia, the courts, and the mainstream media, including news and entertainment. Americans being divided to inevitably collapse the nation under the weight of our own hubris. And then, if you're just listening, a very significant picture, Soylent Grin, three sort of men. Anyway, they make this face where they open their mouths and they pretend that they're smiling when in fact, I don't think these people are human. Anyway, moving right along, Dwayne continues, this new movement, using race as its credo, is being used in a mad gambit to batter and bash all unwoke Americans, left or right, into submission. It has all the trappings and fervency of a cultist religion. Its adherents are fanatical and cannot be reasoned with. Resistance is futile. Now, I have watched the mindless rage at work in cities like Seattle and Portland for over 100 nights. Anyone they thrash or even kill now is presto changeo turned into a Nazi after the fact. The Chop shootings, Danielson's murder, Gardner's suicide, all justified by this warped cult. This model of behavior has many precedents in history, but I can give a recent example, 2014, and the rise of ISIS. ISIS were Islamists, Islamic supremacists, who murdered 19 Muslims for every non-Muslim. Why did they murder Muslims since they themselves were Muslim? Easy. The Muslims they killed were either the wrong sect, you had to belong to Sunni Islam, or weren't Muslim enough, woke, to suit ISIS. Now, where are the vast majority of the radical left's outrages happening? Who is being harmed, impacted the most? Blue Americans in blue states. When you listen to these adherents of this new woke religion that appears to have sprung up overnight, it's clear you simply can't reach or reason with these people. They are not living in the same world we are, and their direct action elements, Antifa, BLM, are hyper violent. The people they are harming and whose lives are the most seriously impacted are on the left, as the Marxist woke mob's enablers provide them cover and support from positions of authority. This is all done in the hopes that they can remove President Trump from office in November. But it goes far deeper than that. Every aspect of the new woke appears fascistic. Students of history can see all the signs of this thing the radical left has created, attempting to legitimize and crystallize itself into permanence onto the American landscape. As Americans were occupied with living their lives, work, and raising families, the insidious stealth Marxists have occupied key positions in our local, state, and federal governments. Just look at these rogue district attorneys who are enabling the mob, putting all of our lives at risk. When President Trump and Mitch McConnell pushed through hundreds of federal judgeships to recover the rule of law, the woke DAs offset that by refusing to prosecute or simply releasing the repeat violent offenders the police have become very adept at catching. A hidden, silent war is underway. I need to stress this. Trump and America have already won. I know it doesn't feel like it because deep blue states and cities have set themselves on fire in protest over it. The demonic souls running those states lit the fires themselves and then caterwaul about Trump's America. Well, as Scott Adams says, we have two movies playing on one screen. One screen looks stable, sane, prosperous, and peaceful, and the other, well, it looks like a struggle session from Mao's Red China before you get it in the neck. Gee, which one would you prefer? We have two Americas right now. If you don't believe me, read this thread by Carlos Osuita, link in the thread. It tells you everything you need to know about what time it is in America. High noon. You can have fascist, woke lunatics stomping your face forever or Americana rising. Tough choice, huh? President Trump knows exactly what he's doing. He knows all of this. He also knows the best way to fix it without an ocean of blood. These lunatics are trying to turn us into, take your pick, the Soviet Revolution of 1917, Korea in the 50s, Vietnam in the 60s, to grab power. The woke are fanatics. I cannot stress this enough. Guns don't scare them anymore. Watch this video. Look at their body language. To stop them, you'd have to kill them. The sheriff's deputies wisely pop tear gas and move on. And as Carlos just pointed out, any resistance to the resistance mob will get you prosecuted and persecuted by the woke DAs. The radical left thinks turning their states into fascistic hell zones will force Americans living in those states to submit and accept their new faith. It's become so obvious, people like me are making memes about it. Well, things sound pretty hopeless, huh? Guess all those folks trapped in deep blue states are out of luck. Better just bend the knee and raise their fist to be left alone, right? Wrong. Because not everyone living in these deep blue shitholes is a lunatic who's abandoned their humanity for a rage-filled revolution that despises everything American. There is an approaching window of opportunity. November 3rd, when they can exercise political power by voting. President Trump doesn't want to kill these fanatics. He doesn't even want to jail them if he can avoid it. He doesn't blame 98% of what was done to them. Serious crimes have to be paid for, but Trump wants to reshape America to win these lost souls back to the light. Horrifying doors have been opened by the woke that are destroying lives. President Trump intends to shut those doors and open up new, not new, and amazing doors for Americans. The mind poison being steadily dripped into the brains of captive audiences in school and at work will end. Christopher Rufo tweeted, "Victory. The president has just signed a full executive order abolishing critical race theory from the federal government, the military, and all federal contractors. The president has effectively declared war on CRT and extended the battlefield to all of our institutions. He will gentle those indoctrinated to hate and attack the unwoke back from the brink as their thought leaders are rounded up and made to pay for what they've done. Full exposure, which is what they're so determined to prevent. By 2022, most of the woke will be on the road to sanity. Think of America as a football field. As founded, we were well balanced with reason, faith, common sense. As time passed, our enemies, both foreign and domestic, began pushing as many Americans as possible to the left right end zones. To them, extremism equals touchdown. America was its most effective at changing America and the world for the better when we worked together in the sane, stable, and prosperous middle ground, 50-yard line. Our enemies do everything they can to stop this. When we stand on common ground and work through our differences, we can literally do the impossible. Americans went to the moon in one of humanity's most incredible achievements, and a depressingly large number of kids today think it's all a lie. Here is a free 4-part documentary on how we did it. People claim to reach that common ground, you have to surrender your values and beliefs. That is a lie, told by those determined to divide us. Americans defeated the then most powerful military in the world, the British, by joining together despite their differences. We do our greatest damage to one another and the world when the majority is divided, hacking at one another over pick something, standing in the extreme end zones, hurling fireballs of rage at one another as our enemies laugh and take advantage. Trump watched the polarizing occur his whole life and is determined to end it. Without rancor, he is standing on that 50-yard line to pull, not push, via free will, as many Americans as he can to that sane, stable middle. The woke have alienated all sane Americans. November 3rd will be 2016 times 10 because the vile and abusive structure our enemies have built over decades, this new cult just being its most recent element, will be completely and irrefutably rejected by the American people. You will then witness not just the polarizing break complete itself, you will witness its collapse as millions of Americans wake from this mad fever dream as President Trump heralds the second Great Awakening by uplifting hearts and minds, not just here, but worldwide, converting the lost from woke to awakened. He won't do this via the DOJ, US military, police, or any force at all. He will use his re-election to cement his policies and then gravitate rational Americans back to Americana as all the forces just mentioned protect us from those too far gone, demonic, or incorrigible to be saved. That number is tiny, truly a rabid mouse that roared, magnified by media and empowered by malevolent souls determined to use this chaos to enrich themselves. President Trump is rendering them all irrelevant as he sails to a November Trump slide. All their machinations come to nothing. We are almost home. The greatest battle against darkness in our lifetime is about to be decided in this span of time. The enemy will be clawing at your courage and sanity in psychotic frenzy every single day until we send them into political oblivion. President Trump is putting out fires all over the world. The one at home was never going to be a problem. He's going to save the mob. They're Americans too, you know. We're going to have to live together after 2020. And we will, having passed through the soul war magnificently. Truth, logic, and reason are Dwayne Cates' holy trinity. He defends them without apology. Program yourself and soar, digital soldier. Support the works of Dwayne Cates at paypal.me/Brent Cates. Thanks for listening, and remember, I will be the greatest president that God ever created.